Good morning, YouTube. This is TJ934, and I would like to talk about issues that Yu-Gi-Oh players have been up ante about. Um, First of all, advice to all the players and beginners and experts or people who barely understand the gameplay of the games. For Yu-Gi-Oh players, you're always gonna have the bad experiences between your opponent and yourself. And by opponent yourself, there's always be arguments of bad game, bad hands, bad instruction, and bad gameplay. So the reason I'm talking about this is because a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players always have to start mess about, oh, these players are idiots, oh, this guy sucks, oh, this guy's that. First of all, just like you will do in real life, you will always find bad players. No matter if they really have bad temper, they're just like that for a reason because they have a bad experience of the game. So, to me, I think that we should help each other out by showing the player how things are done, showing how you can get information on playing certain cards and certain gameplays. A lot of y'all Yugi tubers, Yu-Gi-Oh player tubers, they're really awesome. You guys have showed how to present deck profiles, and you guys have shown some random gameplays of your games, from Dev Pro to Dual Network to YGO and in real life. Such as those players like MCO40, Descent Enigma, your Yu-Gi-Oh channel, the HGK Gaming, and forgive me if I don't remember the name right, but, and also, what was it, Chaos Knight, and there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh tubers out there, just like them. They'll be happy to show you deck profiles of what they came up with, and show their own gameplays in real life duels and into internet world. And a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players, there's no need to be criticizing about other players. If they're that bad, help them out by teaching them how things are done. It's nothing wrong with that about criticizing, but sometimes that just takes too far where you guys are like talk shit about some people you don't even know behind the other side. For example, in Dueling Network, some of y'all have been complaining about players that suck or who are idiots. But the thing is, though, they barely began the game and they don't know anything about certain rulings or game mechanics in the game. So it's your job to show them and not to be an asshole about them. Some of y'all are. I'm not going to say who, but some of y'all are willing to show by showing how things are done, by showing gameplays. Those who are doing that, thank you. That helped me a lot because sometimes I see a lot of players start shit with me saying that, oh, you're playing this card wrong. How the fuck am I playing this card wrong if I just saw someone use this card? I even net deck. For those of you who don't know crap about net decking is basically copying someone else's cards or card decks from anyone. Since no one owns a certain name of a deck, everyone's free to use it. And so, some of you have been complaining about bad players. Remember, you have to remember when you were playing Yu-Gi-Oh in the beginning, you do not know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh. You just saw a card that looks fancy to you, and you liked it. And then you start to get to notice a lot of people who play the game. You start buying your own cards. You get to learn different rulings. And as me as a player, I started off rough. It was not easy. I like the Yu-Gi-Oh series, but sometimes some of the rulings and game mechanics they show is very different from back then till now. But remember, it's just anime, and anime have their own universe of how things are done. So, as me as a bad player, it was kind of hard for me to play things correctly. But I was able to make the most of it out of basic cards and basic gameplays. Sometimes I wasn't lucky because sometimes it was not even hard to lose. But I always lose and I sometimes win. No one has a perfect record of losing or winning. You lose because you're having a hard time and sometimes your card decks don't work well. So what I saw a lot of people, they demonstrate how a deck is consistent in balance and draw power and dexterity. And by those terms, I mean that you can get cards from your deck to the hand, and you can get cards directly to your hand when you need them and when you don't expect to use them. So, as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I get to learn more from y'all, Yu-Gi tubers. And not to take offensive, but please just be straightforward to your opponent, saying that I know I'm doing this right. I've been through this before. You're just gonna have to let me play and show you how things are done. Even though it's not gonna look good on you, but it's gonna look good on me. Just tell them like that. There's no need to talk shit behind people's back that you don't even know and say that all that messed up stuff. Some of y'all are really strict about it, and some of y'all talk too much shit about other players. And sometimes you guys are just like, they're a bunch of idiots. Some of y'all are just soft worded, like straight up. You guys say idiots, dumbasses, assholes, and yes, you guys are pretty much acting the same way as any other troll. And the point of this video is to make you understand, keep doing a good job of demonstrating how to play certain Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and how to play certain decks. You help them learn. And it doesn't mean you had to call out an audience of people who are bad. You don't have to say that, like really. People will not notice how bad they are until they learn from close friends or close opponents that they understand how they're playing their game, but some people don't recognize how they play their own game. Also, the only thing that we should be complaining is about how the game is, not about the players. I mean, really, what is the point of bitching at players who suck and who don't do well? Also, there's no point in criticizing our players except if you want to give them great criticism of how to play a good game or how to play good card combinations. That's all. That's all you had to do. But there's no need to start shit with other people that you don't know and start a riot. Some of y'all just say stuff what you need to say and move on. But some of y'all just drag it. You just drag it like you have so much hate against a player who sucks really bad. You have to understand, everyone starts out differently. Not everyone is good at Yu-Gi-Oh! But you could be good just like you can understand how the game is. The game will advance to the point where it will reach its maximum, but we can all enjoy that potential it has. Also, for those of y'all who I mentioned about certain Yugi tubers such as Descent Enigma, Your Yu-Gi-Oh channel, MCO40, the HGK Gaming, and a lot of Yu-Gi tubers out there. Thank you for showing how you guys demonstrate your own card decks and your own gameplays of how to use cards. And thank you, Asian White Eyes Dragon, if that's how it is. My bad. Asian White Eyes Dragon. You are awesome. Wait, was it? Was it White Eyes Asian Dragon? Anyway, someone who's related to that name. You guys are awesome. Some of y'all are really straightforward. Some of y'all drag it out, like just explain the whole thing until you complete. And some of y'all just overly criticize to the point where it's just like a waste of air. But some of you are really good. You guys are awesome. You guys demonstrate how certain cards work, how you play your own gameplays, and how people can learn from you. Thank you. Also, people that criticizes that dueling network does not help you or benefit at all or help you improve, it does. It's not that you're blinded, but sometimes you're right. It might seem it's not helpful, but it actually helps to the point where you are playing like a dumbass. Now, let me explain that. Like I said, not everyone's good at playing the game, but you can actually learn by playing. Okay, for example, say you got a basic deck. For example, XYZ, the starter deck, Dawn of XYZ. You don't know how the game is, so you practice it on real life. Yes, you end up sucking. Yes, you end up playing a bad hand. You end up not playing very well. But as you develop, you get to learn, and you get to do some basic gameplays and suggestions on how to play certain cards, and what cards you might need for your deck. Also, what else? Man, doing network is basically a do-it-your-own, yeah, DIY program website where you program your own deck profiles and use them against your opponent. You're basically doing the same thing in real life, just like you were playing your own cards in real life. You're playing your cards little by little, mechanically speaking. So, with that said, you get to learn how things are, and you get to learn how people criticize you and people look at you playing. Yes, it's not the same thing as looking at your opponent's hand and looking at your opponent's face, but it gives you that at least some aspect of how you are as a person and how you play. Not everyone's good, and not everyone's born at the same time as being badass in the game. You have to remember everyone has their limitations and everyone has their own way of learning. So for me to learn, I actually have to play certain cards from different people to do it manually online or manually in real life. And it helps me understand how certain gameplays work. My favorite deck I like to play is Lightsworn because that's really a basic deck. I don't know why people say it's complicated, but you basically are playing a game of luck and your chances of manipulating what things are going to happen. What I hate about the deck is that I keep losing fucking, what's it called? Pot of Avarice, and that card doesn't come up until a couple of duels later. So after a couple of games later, I get to use it, but at the wrong time, and sometimes at the right time. An example would be like having all my cards in the graveyard. I only have like what 5 more, and I bring back, and I have Judgment Dragon on the field. My opponent fucking beats the shit out of him, and I'm down to my life points to 100. That card in my hand, once Judgment Dragon and the other Judgment Dragon and Light Rays on the graveyard, I could use that card, bring back both Judgment Dragons to the deck and Light Ray, and if I'm lucky, I'll get to draw both Light Rays or both Judgment Dragons. When that happens, I get Judgment Dragon and the 2 Light Rays. Special summon Judge Dragon. Special summon the other one. Special summon everyone else. And you see, my opponent's monster was strong enough because he used a Forbidden Lance to lower my monster's attack. That's cool. I don't need to sacrifice my life points to activate one of my Judgment's effects. I could just simply run over it and go for game. Now, the thing is though, that's common sense. If my last resort is to fucking special summon monsters just to beat the shit out of my opponent, I would take that opportunity. It's that simple. A lot of players play like that. They'll play, how you say, double or nothing. Do you want to sacrifice your last turn to win, or you just give up and move on? And the thing is though, it gives you that intense feeling that you're almost gonna win, but you're not gonna give up. And some people are like, oh, I have a bad hand, I'm not gonna do shit. I know I already lost. Fuck it. Because they saw how the game was developing and they used all their good cards at one single set. While Lightstorm players, they can play all the cards they need. They just need to make sure all the cards in the graveyard are still there. And hopefully you guys can come back out. And so, with that in mind, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players and card decks work by themselves strategically, even when you don't expect to happen. So, yeah, I mean, respect all players. There's no need to be a dick about it. Yes, you'll always find that special opponent that argues with you that you are playing the wrong deck or the wrong card. But hey, that's the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! You have your mishaps. Not every card works against each other, but not every card is strong against each other or weak against each other. They can help each other out, but depending who sets their plans first ahead of time will do well. Yeah, this video is basic rants about people who need to start complaining about players being that bad or idiots. Remember, not everyone's good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Second, you guys as YouTubers should complain about the issues in the gameplay or new cards coming out and prices going up crazy because some of you are very informative. Like this one dude, he's explaining about breakthrough skill being fucking expensive. $40 for it? Like really? Not that card is only used in certain decks that could actually pull it off. That's a deck that you might need to go in the defensive to stop your opponent from activating their card effects on the field. That's one. Second, I don't see why that card is so damn expensive. You had to activate it in the field, and then you get a secondary effect if it's in the graveyard. You can banish it and make sure that you can target one of your opponent's monster and negate the effect during your turn. So that's pretty awesome, but it's just a one-turn kill. So that's how it is, and that's how I see. There's no need to bitch at other players. You guys should be focusing more of your energy on other things except complaining about other players. Some of y'all do. Def Pro and YGO Pro, they're optimative. Basically, you as the player select all the cards, and if you want to play the game helps you learn how that card effect works and how you organize. So really, you had to do things on your own, and you had to think with your head really hard about how things are done. So really, there's no sense in bitching at other players about how bad their hand. They just feel like playing their cards, and they don't feel like being bitched at. But those of you who are being criticized for the wrong reasons, just play the game, enjoy. You have a lot of potential learning the game, so be it. Enjoy the long run. So don't feel down because other people are at hatred with you, that they start shit with you. don't worry about it. There's always better people than the other craps that happen. So take your time enjoying the game and move on. It's a good game to enjoy. There's no need to be wasting energy and complaining about other players. I have friends that don't do well in Yu-Gi-Oh, but at least they try. Trust me, they tried. And sometimes you have to think and not overthink. Because sometimes you can make a good deck and add extra other crap that you don't need. And you have to be careful how you take it out. Because sometimes it messes up your gameplay. And the game is basic luck. You either use it or you don't. That's how it is. Thank you for watching this video. Comment, subscribe. TJ934 signing out.